We're back. It's me and Jeff.
Hello.
Kaiju number 8, episode 2, which is the
Kaiju
second.
number 8, number 2.
Yes, Kaiju number 8, number 2, which is the second episode of Kaiju number 8. And it picks up, like, right where the last one left off, which I think is great.
It's a smart move. I mean, while we got to see them, like, deal with a little bit of stuff with the Kaiju, we didn't get a lot of action.
Right.
And a lot of it, but we are left on a pretty big cliffhanger. And a lot of animes, what they will like to do is leave you on a cliffhanger, but then come back like everything's normal, and then you learn what happened through flashbacks.
Right.
So I think having a low action first episode, it's very smart to go right into the action in the second.
Absolutely.
It's a good way to keep interest up.
And at the same time, on that note, I will say that it's also really good not to, just bombard the viewer with action right off the bat. Like, don't get me wrong, Attack on Titan might be one of the best modern animes for the first couple seasons. And then I hear it kind of goes off after that. But it starts off really dark, really fast, and a lot of people dying really fast. Whereas
That's also a smart way of being like, hey, we know our audience, you should know our show.
Exactly. But
that way they don't got to deal with a bunch of people later on being like, but it changed and I don't like it. Then now it's just like, I don't like it. And they're like, but we never changed.
Oh, I mean, Attack on Titan did change. I don't know if you watched it or not.
I got about halfway through the first season.
Yeah,
And I keep meaning to go back, and I just never do.
Things take a darker than dark turn later on.
It's already so dark.
Uh-huh. So we start the episode off. Basically, they give the recap. Kefka is in the hospital, and hey, a fucking worm thing is just like crawling down his throat in a very...
A flying worm kaiju.
Yeah, not in a sexy way.
I agree to disagree there.
Oh, well, we can disagree on that. And
is this the first time we get the theme song, or I don't remember if we got it on the first episode.
I don't remember. I think we did. No, I don't think we did, because this intro is fucking trippy.
Dude, so trippy. And like we mentioned how good the closing theme song is, and it's written by One Republic. The opening theme song is also really good, and I finally, for the first time, looked up who sings this one.
Yeah.
You know who sings this one?
I don't.
Youngblood, dude.
Who's Youngblood?
Youngblood is a huge artist out of England right now.
Well, it's
he's
fitting.
Like touring the world.
It's fitting that he's huge and going around the world because, kaiju.
True. Very true.
Very true.
What if there's a sequel to Kaiju number 8 that's literally just the kaijus in the Rampage game?
Dude, I gotta be honest with you, I'd play the hell out of that. I love Rampage.
Well, I love like Rampage 64 and on. I mean, the first one's
rough.
Like the Super Nintendo one is just oof. It's super rough.
It is. I gotta say, I haven't like actually paid attention to the intro before. While yes, it is trippy, it is also fucking awesome seeing all the different kaiju just materializing.
Based on the intro, just from the animation we get, it looks like kaiju or kaijus. Kaiju. It looks like kaiju are man-made. But yeah, it looks like, rogue scientist and all that jazz.
So you get a lot of that, like Pokemon, the first movie with Mewtwo. You get a lot of was Evangelion? That was those were man-made angel demon things too, right?
Oh, yes and no. In Evangelion, the Evas are man-made, but they're man-made from the angels. Angels from outer space. But the Evangelions are made basically from recycled angels.
Oh, but the Titans are man-made.
True. I mean, it's a good shtick in a lot of different anime,
I mean, don't get me wrong. Man-made horrors beyond our belief is probably one of the best fucking tropes in cinema.
Oh, absolutely.
Because like that was a major point in Godzilla Godzilla, the original film was Godzilla was probably like at some point a dinosaur, but then the man-made horrors beyond belief turned him into something completely different.
Even our favorite, the Matthew Broderick version, is iguana nuclear testing.
Nuclear testes, yep. Sorry,
There's another one
I'm kind of chowing on dinner
that I'm
right now.
thinking of, and it's on the tip of my tongue, and I can't think of it.
What's it about?
I just know there's another man-made horror, and it's like revealed later on that it's a man-made horror.
Oh yeah, those.
It's just one of those, like, of course.
There's always
It's
the
a
evil. There's always the evil basement.
Yeah.
So,
And I always love when they're all surprised that, like, oh, man did this? Yeah, we're the worst animal on the planet, dude.
well, like, there's been a lot of speculate or like argument that humanity follows the same like reproduction pattern of only one other type of organism on Earth.
Parasite.
More specifically, viruses.
Oh, goody. So I'll say that I like that they've got like the kaiju warning system in this show and stuff. And while it's not a good show, it's the same with the Monarch show, the Godzilla TV show.
See, I haven't
They
gotten
have
to watch
a kaiju
Monarch yet.
public warning system. It's not worth it.
That's a shame. I mean, but again, you and I have very different taste with film. So it one man's, trash is another man's erotic fantasies.
Very true. Honestly, this one is just like, I don't know. It was just so blah. They set it up for a great Godzilla story, and they just dropped the ball every chance they had.
That's a bummer.
It really is.
So, with once we get through the slog that is recapping, the first episode, or at least the ending of the first episode, as well as flashbacks to Kefka's childhood with his hot girlfriend Mita. We get to we catch back up with Kefka and
The timeline catches up.
the fuck boy. I cannot remember his name.
Yeah. Reno.
I need to pull up
Reno,
Reno the
R-E-N-O.
bitch. You're right. Reno the bitch.
Yeah. Still better than the Final Fantasy VII, Reno.
I've never played Final Fantasy VII.
Kafka and Reno.
So Kafka and Reno. It catches us back. We're caught up in the timeline, and the two of them are like freaking out because they just scared the shit out of the little old man because Kefka's a kaiju, and Remo, the little bitch, is in the room with them, just like being familiar.
They're still in the hospital.
Yeah, they're still in a hospital. And very clearly, Reno the bitch is familiar with the kaiju. And the old man's already freaking out. They've got sirens all over the fucking city, like, hey, clear out, because we got a kaiju attacking. And I love the, like, complete dismissiveness that society has. There's just one of the guys that are getting the alert. It's like, another one?
Right? This is what my taxpayers are, this is what my tax dollars are paying for?
Like, it's not even like a oh my god, we might die kind of situation. It's just like a, guys, I gotta go to work kind of thing.
Right? But I do love that there is also somebody who's just like, are you crazy? Get inside, idiot!
Yeah.
It's like, yes. Thank you, voice of reason.
It's very, very realistic responses. Because let's be real here. If there were kaiju attacking in the world today, half the population would be freaking out. The other half of the population would be like, fucking great. Guess I'm not getting paid this week.
Well, I mean, let's put it this way. When was the last time you actually paid attention to, like, an amber or silver alert on your phone as opposed to just turning it off as quickly as you can?
Oh, no. Every time I get an amber alert, I run outside looking.
Dude, I've gone to movie theaters where they've been doing early releases.
Yeah.
And they flat out ask you to turn your phone off, not mute it, because if there is an amber alert, it'll cut through and still ruin the movie experience.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's crazy. It's crazy.
And we're like that about missing children, but they're like that about big monsters that can kill them.
Right. And I like I said, I kind of get it though. Like, at the end of the day, people still got to pay bills, and if you're not working, you're not getting paid.
Especially the guy that we see, who's all like, oh, really again? Another part of it for him is there was already a kaiju attack that day. I'm sure he's just like, okay, is like the system bugging out or some shit,
I don't think it was that. I think it was the day before, right? Or at least it's been a bit.
No.
Oh, right.
Because Kafka and Reno, they're in the hospital because they got messed up by that one random Spider-Man, the Spider-Man head.
Yeah.
Kaiju.
I'd forgotten about that part.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, so here we are. Kefka and Reno are kind of like, well, what do we do now? As more and more patients come out of their rooms, seeing this menacing demon-looking kaiju. And Kefka is like...
I also love how they deal with the old guy. Because they do the thing that you would think is like, oh man, let's go help him. But then like, then Kafka smiles at the guy, terrifies him, the guy passes out. Then he tries to like lean against the wall to like check on the guy, accidentally tears apart part of the wall.
Right.
I mean, it's just, they're doing a really, it's funny, but what they're doing here is they're also doing a really fantastic job of showing just how overpowered Kafka really is now.
Compared to humans.
Yeah. And honestly, I'd say even to other kaiju. Because up until this point, all the kaiju we see are giants, whereas he's just the size of a person.
Right. Kefka tries to open the window gently to leave and ends up ripping a considerable hole in the, like basically wall to wall hole in the walls.
Mm-hmm.
And again, not realizing his own strength, he jumps out of the hospital window. Also, I gotta respect the fact that Reno just jumps out of a hospital window. Like,
I mean, and the whole thing is he's been training for the core and everything, so I think it's supposed to be like, oh, I can do this, and it's like, maybe if you had the suit on.
Hey, Reno, maybe don't jump out of the third story window. And meanwhile, Kefka just jumps off into the night. I want to say it kind of is reminiscent of the silhouette from The Dark Knight Returns.
Honestly, yeah, especially with him. I never put that together with him going in front of the moon like that, but you're not wrong, man.
Yeah, the moon aspect of it is very well done. I do wish that, like, it's kind of also great because with The Dark Knight Returns, every time he's in that pose, there's usually someone with him. But right now, Kefka's alone.
Well, there is someone with him. He's just falling down really, really slowly.
Right. And
Shallow?
What?
Or I guess shallowy?
Yeah. I gotta be honest, I love the design of the characters from this show, because, like, yes, with a lot of the anime series, the characters have wild and crazy design choices, like their hair is always super crazy different, but with the core, like, everyone has different facial structures, right? It's not just like, you know, there's not just...
They're not doing South Park, where it's just the exact same character.
Right, they're
with
not...
one with the hat's different, you know?
Right. So, for example, with the guy with the bowl of bitch haircut, like, he's got Brock eyes.
Yeah.
From Pokemon. He's got the Brock face. But
he's also a badass.
I don't know this yet.
Buddy, I'm so excited for you to find out.
I do like, you know, I've seen enough of this episode. Like, obviously I've watched this episode, so I've only seen bits and pieces of him. But, like,
yeah, so breaking the fourth wall to anyone listening, I've been up to date, whereas Mark is watching and recording.
Right.
So it's a really fun dynamic between the two of us. Plus, Mark's actually read the manga, so
I do remember little bits and pieces, but this was back when I was still unemployed, so it wasn't even like I was reading it on the
like 3 weeks ago.
How funny I was.
Come on, that was a good one. I'm proud of it.
Fucker. So we get a brief clip of just like seeing the core get ready to go into battle, and Mina's being all like, "Hey, I'm fucking cool," and meanwhile, her side piece with the bowl haircut is just being like all smart and shit. Really
a sarcastic asshole.
Ultimately, like, nothing important happens with them showing up. It's just showing that Mina's hardcore and her sidekick is an asshole. And sometimes that's all you really need to get the dynamic of a character.
Absolutely. And it's just, it's showing these people who, like, they got a crazy serious job, but they're still making it fun.
Right. It's
without making it silly.
Right. And it's the same as Kefka with the cleanup crew. Like,
Oh, I see.
Because like
Disposal unit.
with damage control.
Yep. Yeah.
And with
Right?
with Kefka being so new to this kaiju body that he seems to have now, he doesn't know how to control it very well, and we're getting just about all of the weird body horror you can possibly get.
I mean, to the point where like he goes no human legs, a bunch of tentacle legs, weird things popping out the side of his neck,
large growth.
He pulls an alien,
yeah,
with the mouth inside the mouth, which then eats a bird.
Right.
Awesome.
And then of course the classic nipple urination scene.
One of the funniest parts.
I didn't know how to handle this when I was watching. I was watching it while I was at work last week, and when this came on, I had to do a double take because I was like, "There's no way that's actually what's happening right now."
Guess what? That's what's happening right now.
And Kefka, again, this anime is it's a very heavy material, but at the same time, it doesn't take itself seriously at all.
Mm-hmm.
Like,
it's not that fun while not being sophomoric.
That's the word of the day, folks. That sophomoric. The definition is.
I'm pretty proud of that one.
Yeah, that was good. The Kefka is having a little bit of a crisis because he just whizzed out of his nipples, and like, I mean, let's be real here. If I was a grown man who had been peeing out of my penis my whole life, and all of a sudden my nipples started pissing, I'd be a little broken up too.
Well, here's the real question for you, and the important question. Does that mean he's got two dicks that each come out one of his nerps?
I don't know.
We still don't know about kaiju cock.
We don't know how kaiju reproduce. And Kafka's like, I want to find help. I want to get... Somebody needs to help me with this. And honestly, Reno has to drag him back down to earth. Like, dude, nobody's going to help you. They'll probably kill you on site.
Yeah.
And
we're in Project Keep You Alive right now. What are you thinking of other shit for?
And of course, Kefka at this point is like, oh my god, now I can't live out my lifelong dream of being, cool like my girlfriend.
Which, if he just had more realistic dreams, like peeing on his nipples, he would have had a good life.
Yeah. And then, oh my god, I gotta be honest with you. The whole aspect of Kaiju No.8 being able to sense where other kaiju are coming in, fucking amazing. Definitely. Well, and then, of course, the first thing he senses is the spider demon thing. So one might even say that he's got a spider sense. Thank you, rim shot. And it's one thing to have to be dealing with a kaiju, right? Like the defense corps is going in to deal with a kaiju, and then bowl haircut. His name is Soshiro.
Okay, sure.
Yeah. So Bowlcut's like, hey, the kaiju we're heading to fight off. Yeah, there's another one that just popped up. Just pinged on my little map thing here, and they show the map thing, and it's all pinging, and it's not good for nobody.
Or isn't.
Also,
although, never mind.
No, go ahead.
It's something that if you haven't watched the other episodes, you want to know yet. So,
okay.
I'll leave it.
Also, can we appreciate that Mina has symmetrical moles under her eyes?
I mean, at that point, are they symmetrical moles, or is she accessorizing?
Well, because she had them as a child too.
Yeah, she's been accessorizing for a while. She takes this shit serious.
Those are her accessories?
Yeah.
Also, she's had these weird, like, triangle clips in her hair forever, too. At first, I thought, like, oh, this is, like, part of the suit's technology and everything. But Child wore this, too.
Yeah, because, and I understand why you think it's part of her suit, because, going back to Evangelion, Rei Ayanami, part of her her Eva suit had those weird triangle things too.
Oh, that's
I
right.
think they're supposed to be like communicators or something in Ava. I mean, I guess they're just random sad berets in this.
I think she knows how to accessorize.
Yeah, well, doing it since she was a kid.
Yeah, she's been wearing the same 2 dots under her eyes and hair clips that look like Ava. And then,
Like a boss.
I gotta be honest, just having Kefka stand there all front and center, he looks like such a dork.
I mean, I would say that's accurate.
He 100%, he is a dork, but like, it's really hard having. Okay, hot take. This is the Henry Cavill of this world. He's a huge dork, but he's also hardcore.
I mean, I'm gonna have to disagree just because the only reason he's hardcore is because the tapeworm. He's got a tapeworm, whereas
You
Henry
don't-
Cavill
you
is
don't know
hardcore
that.
because he's worked to be hardcore.
You don't know that Henry didn't get a tapeworm. Maybe Henry got a tapeworm, and that's why he looks the way he do.
That is true, and if so, I'm gonna start looking for tapeworms.
We should bring him on the show and ask him about that.
Henry, open invitation, man. You know,
Henry Cavill, if you want to come in and talk about your tapeworm that made you all super strong and shit, please do. We'll
fans deserve to know.
yeah, we won't even ask you to pay us to be on the show.
I mean,
Are-
we're spending money on them.
That's true. That's true.
Yeah.
And then, as Kefka and Reno are running from the scene of the crime, we're treated to the obligatory child crying to try and dig up their dead mom.
Well, not yet, but getting there.
I mean, fuck, girls. She's got a whole bookcase collapsed on top of her desk, which is collapsed on top of her, and this child. I'm not gonna lie to you. This child looks like she's straight out of like Digimon.
I mean, yeah, I'll give you that one.
And
I have no rebuttal.
well, and in this specific scene with the child trying to dig up her mom from dying, and then a giant kaiju thing showing up intent on eating said mother, it's very reminiscent of like the opening scene from Attack on Titan.
That's what I was thinking the entire time I was watching this scene.
Yeah,
too.
I mean, there's definitely a lot of parallels between generic insert generic kaiju series title, but it works for this
I mean,
particular
technically,
series.
the Titans are kaiju.
Yeah,
I guess pussy kaiju, but whatever.
right. Yeah, well, yeah, you know. But yeah, so big old spider demon with his double gap in his teeth is looking in the window and just like, hey, you gonna eat that?
Yeah. You know, dinner.
Oh shit, man! I got Lunchables with a treat inside. And
I gotta get some corrective lenses.
And yeah, corrective lenses, some braces, maybe, probably a lozenge or two. And once again, we get that in the demon thing or in the kaiju's mouth moments,
Yep.
where the mother and child are both like enveloped, and then
Which I mean, I don't care if this is controversial. I think that's bad parenting.
I mean, absolutely, that mother needs to put her child into better like why are you still living in a neighborhood where this kind of thing happens?
You know what it is? It is she's not putting her child first.
She's not. She's a selfish
I mean,
mother who.
Everyone loves living in the party district, but you know what? You're a mother now.
I bet you know.
Act
I
like
bet
it.
she is career driven. That's the problem. She's a career driven single mother, and she doesn't care about her child.
It's an epidemic.
So anyway, Kefka shows up and really shows the huge gap in strength that he had before versus now, because we've seen him go up against this same exact kaiju and get his shit rocked.
Both literally and figuratively.
For sure. Oh, he definitely shit his pants last time.
Man,
And he just single left hooks this demon, this giant spider creature, and knocks him out, like knocks him for a loop. And even Kefka's like, holy shit.
that's the part I love is like him staring at his hand like, what? Which means like in his mind he was like, well, I guess I'm just gonna punch this thing like I'm punching a brick wall. Who knows what's gonna happen here?
And yeah, he handles the kaiju in basically one punch, and then goes to check on the mother and her, you know, neglected child, and forgets like he forgets, like, oh yeah, that's right, I look like a monster. And one of my favorite things about the animation that they do here is it's not his whole body that turns cutesy anime when he's like realizing this. It's just the face. So you have this highly detailed body with all of these plates of armor and spikes running down his back and all. Meanwhile, his face looks like it was drawn up by a 4-year-old.
And just all sorts of, oh no!
It looks like
How could that have happened?
The neglected child. This is the neglected child's like police drawing of this kaiju. Like that's basically what's happening here. And like he's like, okay, hold on, I'm gonna help you out here, and then I'm gonna bounce. I don't want to scare you, so like I understand the situation I'm in right now. So he frees the mom, who again, does she really even deserve it at this point? And then
the answer is
no, because you know.
And now she's just taking a nap instead of getting her kid out of there. What the fuck?
For serious. And while she's not even getting her kid out of there, this big old kaiju shows up again. He's like, ha 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 ha, I'm gonna nibble you. He's
like, hey guys, you know, that wasn't cool. I was just trying to have a quick bite to eat.
And so Kefka's like, hey, Reno, just get her out of here, please. Get this single mom of one out of here, and I'm gonna punch this kaiju really hard. And
real hard.
He punches it really hard. And vaporizes it. Like, it explodes into meaty bits everywhere.
And again, Kefka was sitting there like, the fuck? How did that happen? It's like, you strong, bitch.
Yeah. Kefka again is just in complete awe that he has this much strength in him. And meanwhile, Reno's standing in the blood rain, like, dude.
Which, dude, that is a scene.
Also, I love, you can, if you really focus in on it, you can see Kefka's perfectly sculpted butt cheeks in his kaiju form.
What comes out of there?
Kaiju poo.
That wouldn't come out of his butt. Have you learned nothing from the show yet?
Oh, that's a good point. Maybe his poop comes out of his belly button.
Be amazing.
So Kefka again, like, hey, I know how I look. I know this don't look great. What with me punching a demon creature and it blows up. So I'm gonna bounce. Good luck. Go to the hospital. Take care of your mom. And little Digimon child was like, hey, thank you. Thank you for saving us. And for some reason that triggers another flashback for Kefka. He's like, oh, remember that time that Mina said thank you at me? And
to celebrate, we ran through a field.
Yeah, and I don't think at this point they've even explicitly said that was Mina in the police corps built, or like the police girl. I don't think they've even explicitly said, hey, this is the same girl from his childhood, but like it's a dead giveaway when she's got the
But Dave, and also like every time we see her is like, I mean, it cuts from him and this little girl to like now he's imagining him and her
fighting side by side. Yeah.
Then, like, or we see a picture of her and it cuts to him and the little girl. Like it's well, they don't also explicitly say it, they make it obvious,
right?
Which is a good thing because it's not just like exposition or like, oh, they're not hitting you with a hammer, but they're still making it understandable.
It's neither a hammer nor a feather. It's somewhere in between.
Yeah.
But well, and also, you know, she's still wearing the same fucking hair pieces that she wore when she was a child.
And her eye accessories.
And the eye accessories. The eye accessories. Kefka again is he's going through a midlife crisis because first of all, he's made the decision to try again to join the Defense Corps, but at the same time he's also turned into a giant kaiju thing, and he's like, what to do here? And it's finally like we see that he has the ability to turn it back off, which gives him a little bit of a better chance at getting into Peace Corps or the Defense Corps. But
yeah, it also gives him a better chance of not being murdered by them.
Well, you know,
the second they see him.
Yeah. And again, I gotta be honest with you. Yes, this thing is blown to bits. Yes, there's chunks of meat everywhere. I feel like they would be wasting a lot if they don't eat the meat from these kaiju.
I mean, they have to, right?
Right. I mean, even the tiger's looking at like, hey, is this cool if I just like nom on this and
right.
stuff? And
you think the tiger brings them dead like tiny kaiju, like regular cats bring like birds and mice?
Oh, 100%. That cat is dropping like 4 foot tall crow kaiju onto Mina's bed at least once a week.
You know what? I'll bet she still eats it.
Oh, she's like, oh man, he's trying so hard, and if I ruin this for him, it's just gonna, man, I don't want to do that to him.
Like it's like a hiccup and toothless situation.
Oh, for sure, 100%. And then Mina and her little crew, they show up and they're like, hey, what happened? And the little girl's just like, you know how like the monsters are real bad? There's a monster that's not very bad. In fact, I'd go so far as to say monster is good, because he punched the other monster.
And they're all like, dumb little kid.
What is this this little bitch has been playing Digimon again.
You dumb bastard. It's not a sailboat, it's a scooter.
I don't get the reference.
Mallrats?
Oh, I've never seen Mallrats.
Bro. He calls like 2 7-year-olds dumb bastards.
Ah. So with this revelation that there might be good kaiju out there, we are immediately treated to an artist's rendition of what Kefka appears or looks like, that is shown on the news broadcast as a terrifying demon.
Yeah.
Like, I'm talking mouth is gaping, eyes are just huge, there's blood like trickling everywhere. And this is what the dudes at the cleanup crew are just chilling, watching on their like lunch break.
Yeah, they're like, hey, maybe one day I'll get to clean that guy up, and I'll take him home and make him into a waifu pillow for myself.
Man, if I could have that fucking skull mask, I'd give it to a girl I like. And
this is the reason you buy a 3D printer. Oof.
Yeah. Well, and we also find out that it's been 3 months now. So
yeah,
Kefka has gotten away with being a kaiju for 3 months. Now, given he probably doesn't transform a whole lot because, you know, safety and all that. But like the fact that he's managed to evade for that long means that he's doing a good job of hiding the fact he was the one that, you know, tore open the hospital.
It also insinuates, I'd say it flat out says, Kefka hasn't been taking out other kaiju since then.
Right. Well, there's not even really been a...
absolutely mentioned a rumor of it, if, you know, in the 3 months since he's disappeared, you know, something like that.
Yeah. Well, and as it turns out, in those 3 months, Ryuno the bitch and Kefka have taken the written exam portion of the test to join the defense corps. And as we've established, Kefka has failed out of the defense corps several times. Like, this is
10 years in a row,
something like that. Well, this is either way. This is his last chance. And
yes, they've also just recently raised the age,
right?
So this is it.
This is Kefka's only chance at this point. And the other dudes are like, hey, so we know Kefka manages to fail every time. If you want, we can just give it to him so things aren't awkward between you two. And and Remo the bitch is just like, you know what? I think I'll handle this, guys. And then he just looks at the test results. I feel like that shouldn't be allowed. I feel like you shouldn't.
I feel like it's probably not. But whatever.
but also Reno showed up to work. If you pay attention on this, he showed up to work wearing fucking like Toms. Like homeboy is wearing Toms while he running over to Kefka, which obviously he changes out of. But it's nice to know that he's living his coziest lifestyle. And oh, good. I do want to point out, like, if you look at the kaiju that they're currently working on butchering, this thing is very much looks like it looks like trees. It looks like it's made of like some kind of organic tree material. Well, trees are organic, right, aren't they?
Sure are.
Yeah, they certainly are. But it looks like this is a kaiju that is based on like wood and branches and shit. But I also love the fact that it's covered in stickers, and I'm sure that in Japanese the stickers mean something. But for us Americans, it just looks like graffiti.
They're just like going there on their field trips and shit.
They're just tagging it with like their hashtags, like check out so and so on Instagram. Actually, now that I'm talking about it, I kind of want to see what it means. Discard, delivery of materials. Where's the next one? There's one. Delivery of materials. Yeah, so basically these stickers are just to like, okay, this is the parts we're keeping, this is the parts we're throwing out. Yeah, good on them.
Probably a good thing to have on there.
Now, keeping that in mind, like, this is very, very much a smaller kaiju that they're currently working on. Because Kefka is visible on top of it. Not like, oh yeah, I kind of see Kefka up there at the top. Like, Kefka's sitting on top of it eating lunch, and he's, I would say he's probably like, maybe 6 or 7 of him stacked on top of each other would be the same height as what this kaiju currently is.
Yeah.
Like, this is definitely one of the smaller things.
Kaiju?
Yeah, one of the smaller kaijus. And Reno shows up, he's like, hey dude, you did it. And Kefka is slipped into his kaiju form by accident.
Just kaijuing the fuck out.
He's just kaijuing the shit out.
Not good either.
And he quickly just like fixes it. He goes back to normal, kind of. So we can see that Kefka's kind of getting control over his powers, but doesn't quite have everything under control yet.
Exactly.
Which is great. I absolutely hate in anime and shit when it's like, oh man, this guy has these new powers and suddenly he just knows how to do it.
Like, I love the idea of someone getting to make a wish and they wish for all his power, and then also just like immediately know how to use it. It's like, well, that doesn't make any sense.
Yeah, the problem with it's a Mary Sue issue. It's a Mary Sue issue where you have to have the self-insert character that's just good at everything, which sucks. It ruins the story. And Kefka is like the opposite of that.
Yeah, sure is.
Kefka is like Kefka's like the new guy that just joined the track team, and you're like, hey, you're gonna be doing the hurdles for this first race, and then he proceeds to trip over every single hurdle as he runs, and then he finally breaks free at the last stretch of the run and trips and falls down before he gets to the finish line. Yeah, that happened to me a lot as a kid.
All right.
Yeah. I was very self-confident when I went out for track. I thought I was going to be able to do it no problem. And then Kefka gets the results. He's like, oh yeah, fuck yeah, I passed. But that's the easy part, really. I always fail out later. And Reno's just kind of like trying to be that supportive younger friend. It's like, hey man, you got this. I know, I believe in you, sir. And Kefka's just fucking about.
That's the important part. He just keeps calling him sir now too. And
yeah.
It's like, all right, calm down, bitch.
Like, yeah, I'm like, he's what, like 32?
He's 30.
Yeah, he's young. Kefka's younger than we are, and that hurts, man. That hurt. Why don't I get to turn to a kaiju?
Well, probably because you wouldn't be very responsible if you were.
That is not true. I would be very, very irresponsible.
I agree.
I would be the opposite of whatever very responsible is. I gotta be honest with you. I love watching this final scene where they pull into this this massive facility where all of the Defense Corps training is, and well, the Defense Corps in general is, because it's like, while the facilities are huge, there's not a whole lot of cars in the parking lot, you know? Like,
right.
This is very clearly something like a group that you have to be the best of the best to be a part of. Either that or it's still just early and nobody else is there. One of the two.
Either way, out of place.
Yeah, quite the facility. And then we start to get to see some of the other recruits. And I gotta be honest, this douchebag with the shark style haircut and the sharp teeth, probably one of my favorite character designs.
Dude, loving it. I shouldn't. He's such a twat, but I like him.
Oh yeah, for sure. And like
with the Kuwabara.
Yes. It's like if Kirishima from My Hero and Kuwabara had a child. And then this
Bitchy McGee.
What?
Bitchy McGee walks up.
Yeah, God, fucking Bitchy McGee. So, one of the most overdone tropes, I'll say at this point, is the fucking child prodigy bitch child that shows up and she's like,
right.
Hey, I'm better than you, and I know it. And this one shows up.
It's super funny when it's in anime because it's like, this is Japanese culture.
Suck a dick.
Be polite.
Suck a dick. I'm only 32. Called it. So, but yes, this small creature child shows up and is just immediately a huge dick to Kefka. And she's like, Hey, you're parked in my parking spot. And he's like, oh, I didn't know we had assigned parking spots. And she's like, no, I just want the one that you're currently parked in.
And she just doubles down on the dickness.
Like, she doesn't have to be this big of a dick. She's just being a dick just to be a dick. And...
well, no. 55's her lucky number for the day.
For the day, yeah. Yeah, you don't... For the day is...
5.
I love that it's like, haha, it's my lucky number for today. Not like in general. She's like straight up just being a bitch at this point. And
100%.
That's bitch.
Agreed.
I don't even respect that she's being a bitch just to be a bitch. She just is. She very quickly becomes unlikable for anybody that's not into that.
She's not a Karen is because she's not old enough to be one yet.
No, she's she's an Ashley, which is like, but she doesn't spell Ashley like a normal person. It's like
she spells it with like an E-E.
ASHLEIGH.
Oh god, those are the worst.
Yeah. But like in this moment, she doesn't even have any like redeeming qualities about her. Like,
and I don't know if you've noticed, like the parking space she wants and all this, she's got a fucking driver.
Yeah.
Like, dude, have him deal with it. Like, you don't even. It's not even like you're parking your car. So chill out.
Well, it's not even just that. It's like there are so many other parking spots, and she's just being entitled. She's being an entitled brat, which makes sense.
Exactly.
She's probably lived her entire life with a silver spoon in her mouth. And then she takes off her overcoat.
As you said in her mouth, I was going to say up her ass.
Well, that too. But like she takes off her overcoat and she's already wearing one of the battle suits that the Defense Corps wears. So like first, again, silver spoon in her mouth. She's already part of the Defense Corps and she's treating other people just like garbage because of it.
She's not a part of the Defense Corps, but she's clearly got way more advantages than they do.
Right.
My theory is her family are the people that created the suits.
I think they are. Don't they say that like her grandfather is the one that like
I honestly don't remember.
Yeah. But so she shows up, she just generally bitches around, and then she's just like, oh, if you're not going to move your car, I'll just move it for you. And so she just grabs the car, and then I got to be honest with you, this moment where she like activates the suit and it bulks her up for a second, I think it fucking gorgeous animation for that brief moment, just kind of seeing how the technology works.
Well, and if you look at the bicep there, like you could see the fibers in the actual material.
Right.
I mean, like it's very, very well done.
For sure. It looks like it's very clear what it's not like it's what's going on. You can see what the effect of this suit does.
It's not like in Dragon Ball Z when they're like power up and they just kind of pop a squat and go for like 3 episodes straight. And
right.
Is this what powering up is?
It's a very quick burst of energy. It boosts her strength. And for those of you out there that have muscle mommy like fetishes, you know,
this is your scene.
Right. And then she just fucking picks up the car. I mean, she dents the hood a little bit, but she just picks up the car and then pitches it out of the way so she can park her car.
Which, by the way, I want to say, if I'm like one of the people running this training and I see this happen, I'm like, oh, okay, you're immediately out. How do you expect us to trust you with an upgraded version of the suit you're wearing?
Right, exactly. Like she's not setting herself up for success here. She's just like being an asshole.
100%. Oh, the funny part here is that's not Kefka's car. That's like the disposal unit's car.
Right, that's a government car.
Exact. So one government car, but and it also does a good job of also pointing out there, like that's how much they trust Kefka. They just let him take the car.
Yeah.
You know?
Well, not only trust, but they fully support Kefka. They're like, dude, we know how long you've been working for this. Like, you deserve this more than anybody. And they're just like, take the car.
One of those, like, clearly overly nice people that others just want to support.
Right. He has, as I've said last time, he has charisma that brings the people around him to him.
100%.
And also, I do think it's a little weird that she knows what kaiju smells like. Because
well, does she mention in this one?
I think
her hobby is hunting kaiju.
Yeah, she does mention that her hobby is hunting the kaiju, and then she just gets all up in his face and she's like, "Hey, you smell like bitch and also kaiju."
Your Axe body spray, you chose the wrong scent.
Hey, that Axe chocolate flavor doesn't actually turn you into chocolate. I found out.
God, I just fucking hate her.
And
I hate when people like her end up getting
what they
rewarded
want in
for
life.
Being a twat.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, it's that. What's that category of girl in anime? Is it yandere?
I don't know.
Let's find out. Doing the research.
Click, 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 click.
There we go. Dare type. So there's Dare is like the different like obsessive personalities that they have for girls in anime, etc. Yandere is the ones that will like just destroy things, like kill people to get what they want in life.
Okay.
Like
the girl with the what's it called? The chick light in.
Yes,
Death
like
Note.
her. Yes.
Yeah.
Angel came in with the assist on this one. It's a tsundere. They are a character. It's character development that depicts a character with initially harsh personalities who eventually gradually reveal a warmer, friendlier side over time. So, yeah, basically that.
Yeah.
Because she does. I will
there's
say.
also always just. You know what I hate about that though?
What?
They don't always need to be redeemed. Sometimes just let them be a bitch and let them get their comeuppance.
For sure. Oh my god. Like one of what I know. I've seen a bit of Evangelion, but I haven't watched all of it. But I know that Asuka is one of those.
Asuka.
Whatever.
Yeah, but she also gets beat to like within an inch of her life. She's one of those ones who she's like, I'm the toughest there is, and everyone should love me, and da da. And it's like, sure aren't. You almost died real bad.
Yep. So all we're getting at here is it's nice to have somebody that you can genuinely just hate for a character, and while it is nice to have characters that like, oh, I was an asshole, I see the error of my ways, we don't always need that. And I really hope that we get at least one of those, just like, this character is the fucking worst in this series.
Honestly, I kind of want it in every series. I want to be able... I get that it's not always the way the world works.
Right.
But sometimes I just want to be like, all right, nice and simple, this is who I hate. I get to know that I'm coming in and hating them. I don't need to, like...
We don't need morally gray...
Yeah,
we don't need moral gray areas in everything.
No, absolutely not.
Like, sometimes black and white evil works better than having that middle ground. So to wrap up, Kaiju number 8, number 2, really good, really well done. The
show just keeps impressing.
It does. It keeps impressing because they're not really like... I gotta be honest with you, I feel like this is one that they were just like, look, man, either it's gonna do really well or it's gonna suck. Let's just have fun with it.
Maybe while making it, but I feel like after it was animated and everything, they knew they had a hit.
Yes.
Because, like I said last time, getting simulcast in both English and Japanese. Yeah, you don't do that if you're like, let's see how it goes.
For sure. Absolutely.
But when making it, I could completely agree with you.
And also, I did look this up. This is the mangaka's like third project he's done.
Oh, really?
So Naoya Matsumoto did Neko Wappa, which is
never heard of.
It came out in 2009 through 2010. I think there was only 13 chapters, and it's about a girl, or like a human baby that was left outside the shrine of a cat god.
Okay.
And they take in the baby and raise them as their own.
The cat god? Or the monks?
The child. Or the cat gods raise her as their own.
That's the thing, in anime, it could be the cat gods themselves, or it could just be like the monks do it.
Right, for sure. The other one that he did...
It could be a random dude walking down the street and then being like, okay, I am now raising as my child the strongest creature in the galaxy.
Exactly, and I love that. With the next one he did was called Pochi Kuro. It was 43 chapters long. It ran from 2014 to 2015. A human girl falls into the demon realm and can't communicate with but can't seem to communicate with the local demon Kuro who found her. Humans are rare in the demon world, and there are many who would love to eat a human. Kuro ends up falling in love with her and names her names her Pochi. Kuro decides to help Pochi get back to the human world and protects her from the demons that try to eat her. She ends up being able to at least understand them, but can't speak the same language. Then she meets a demon prince who falls in love with her too, and then begins her long journey back to the human world. So, like...
Okay.
And then we get Kaiju number 8. That's where we're at now. So, like, it's not like this mangaka has been doing this for a long time and then was just like, okay, now's my chance to really just get weird. The things that they've been doing have been weird from the get-go. I think they gave
Kaiju
them...
number 8 is going to be one of those. We get 26 episodes and then they're like, we're done.
Well, I think that because the manga is still ongoing. It's still being made. But they started it. Yeah, I think they're on volume 10 now. But I think that they gave themselves enough of a buffer before they started the anime series.
See, that's smart.
So okay, they're currently on volume 12. So volume 1 came out July of 2020. So they've right in the middle of COVID. So they've given themselves enough time to have material to work with, because if I'm not mistaken, the episodes only cover like maybe 1 to 2 chapters.
So that I want to know. I have not read the manga.
I'm pulling that up right now.
Check something else. But here's the other thing. This first season, it's only going to be 12 episodes.
Right, yeah. The first season is going to be 12 episodes, and let me see here. Checking. That's the beauty of the generation we live in, is that we have a Wikipedia for fucking everything now. So
Right.
episode 1 of the series covers chapter 1 and then like 2 pages of chapter 2. Episode 2
I could absolutely see that.
Episode 2 covers the rest of chapter 2 and then chapter 3. So like they're taking this in like 2 to 3 chapter chunks for the episodes,
Right.
which means that they will be going
Typically,
for
how many chapters per manga volume?
That's a good question. Usually it depends on like how long the chapters are.
Right.
But I would say that on average most mangas have like 5 to 6 chapters. Let me see. So this first volume has 7, or the first volume of Kaiju No.8 has 7 chapters. The second one has 10 chapters.
Oh, okay.
Then 9.
So
So
we got
it's
a good
not.
amount
It's,
there.
yeah, it's not consistent by any means, but it's not like they're not like short chapters by any means.
Absolutely.
So, this one it seems more cut and dry. Like you're going to get just enough story to move on to the next episode. Now, Dragon Ball arguably is one of the ones that overstayed their welcome. But it was because it was such a cultural icon that they were like, we can't just stop.
Oh, yeah.
Anyway, back to our original point. I hope that this series sticks to its roots and doesn't get too like filler-y. Because
again, I don't think we have to worry about that in this series.
That's good. I'm hoping for that. So,
yeah.
Episode 3, here we come. We'll see you soon.
Woo!